The Minnesota Timberwolves defeated the Denver Nuggets 106 to 99. This was an exciting game. I enjoyed it. I felt it lived up to the hype that we've been hearing about this matchup for this whole entire week. It was a lot of fun to watch. Obviously, not so much fun if you're a Denver Nuggets fan. I have to say, Anthony Edwards is continuing to live up to all the hype he's been getting these last few weeks of being a possible new face of the league type of guy. Just this was another legacy game for him, I would say. It's one of those games where he just announced to the world, I'm here, this is who I am. I'm ready to take over this league. It was that type of game. I say that because it's a big deal because this is against the defending champs, an experienced team, a team that has gone on a run before, that has a history of going on playoff runs with the Nuggets, and he was ready to rip their hearts out from the beginning. That first quarter, he just went off. The Wolves, I think they had an 18-4 lead at the start, and he was doing it all. He was getting to the basket. He was hitting his shots. Just he mixed it up really, really well in the first quarter. And you had to give him credit. Just he had that killer instinct from the get-go. Just he saw the moment was big, and he seized the moment. So I give him credit. Just the first half was really his half. He set the tone for this game, I feel, with his aggressiveness. The Nuggets, they were very complacent from the start, like they've been throughout the playoffs. I think this is like a wake-up call because they got down 18-4, and then eventually they took back the lead by halftime. Still, I think this was a wake-up call because they're not going to be able to get away with the same stuff against the Wolves that they were able to do against the Lakers in the sense of just being complacent, getting down by double digits, and just believing that they could just easily come back and win this game on just their talent alone. That's not going to cut it against the Wolves. The Wolves have too much talent where you can't spot them double-digit leads and think that you're going to get back into the game. That's just not happening. So I think you're going to see a greater sense of urgency from them from this point forward, I feel, in the series because they can't allow this to happen. They're not going to win games where they fall behind by double digits often against this Wolves team. So it's a precarious situation to be put in. I think that's the biggest thing. The other thing I observed from this game was that Jokic, when you look at the box scores, 32 points, 9 assists, you're thinking like, this is another great Jokic game. But it wasn't. Just his shooting was terrible, 11 for 25. Yeah, he got 32 points, but a guy like Jokic is always going to get 20 to 30 points. It's really how he gets those points. He wasn't efficient like he normally is. For Jokic, that's always shooting 50% or above, and they got him below 50%. The Wolves basically were able to contain him in this game. They contained him really well, enough to win the game. They frustrated him. They flustered him. They forced him into 7 turnovers, which is insanely high. And it also negates his 9 assists, I believe. Just they were able to really frustrate him. And I was kind of surprised they were able to do it because they were doing on one-on-one coverages. They were not double teaming him. They were forcing him to go one-on-one with them. So it worked. Gobert did a great job defending him. He's never going to win the match of one-on-one, but he did just enough to bother him and influence the game. Cat was good at times when guarding him too. So you give those guys credit because what they're doing, their game plan is just to wear down Jokic and tire him out. And I felt they did because he had to expend so much energy at times just to score in the post. It took a lot of work. And when he missed, just him grabbing those offensive rebounds, just it takes work, and they made him really work for it. When you get tired in these games, that's when you make mistakes, and Jokic made uncanny mistakes he normally doesn't make because he was tired, and they're forcing him to rush. That's the thing that really surprised me because Jokic has always been a master of pace, and they're forcing him to make quick decisions that he wasn't ready to make. Jamal Murray was terrible in the first half, absolute trash, just garbage. To me, it was interesting how the Wolves have decided to guard him, which was at the start they had Anthony Edwards harass him, bother him, and just go at it. And then at times you would have Jaden McDaniels switch on him. they're really determined to put Michael Conley and have him cheat on guarding KCP throughout this game. That was their strategy, and I wonder if they'll do it for the rest of the series, because it seems to me like they're betting that KCP is never gonna score enough to be able to exploit the matchup with Michael Conley. And this game, they were absolutely right. He only got 6 points, which again allows them to get away with putting Michael Conley on him. And Conley actually had a good game, 14 points, 10 assists on 5 of 8 shooting. So it was a very underrated move. That's what they did with putting Conley on KCP. The Nuggets, I feel they need to get KCP at least 12 to 14 points a game in the series. He's got to score more than 6. He's never been a 20-point scorer, but he's going to have to score 12 to 14, I feel, to make them pay for this mismatch. He has to score a little bit more than just 6. That's not going to cut it. Aaron Gordon, just 9 points, but 6 assists. He had a great passing game today. He's going to need to step up a little bit more too, I feel, when it comes to the scoring department. Murray, I will say this. He was very bad in the first half. In the second half, I'm not going to say he was great, but he was solid. It seemed to me that he was finally figuring out how to play with this injury he has, because it's not going to go away. It's a nagging injury. He's going to have to find a way to play through it. The other problem I feel with the Nuggets is that they were not able to slow down Anthony Edwards in any way. Like, he was getting whatever he wanted. He was able to drive to the hole. He was able to get dunks. He was able to get post-up moves. I was impressed by his post-up game in the post. It reminded me of Michael Jordan, how he used to post up guys on the baseline with a fadeaway move. He was mixing it up with everything. I think they had to ask themselves a difficult question. Do you double team Anthony Edwards? I know it sounds crazy, but I'm willing to do it. I think you need to double team him and harass him and force a guy like Michael Conley or Jaden McDaniels to beat you. Jaden McDaniels only had 0 points in this game. I think they should go at double teaming Anthony Edwards on every possession and force him to be a facilitator. That's what I do. And if the Wolves still win, all right, fine. But I don't think they can guard him on one-on-one coverages. I don't think that's going to work out well for them. He was able to get whatever he wanted against KCP. His strength was too much for him. And then when they switched on Aaron Gordon on him, he was able to also exploit him in different ways. So I don't think it's easy to stop him one-on-one. This is a guy you might have to double team and force other guys to beat you. Like Conley and McDaniels, I would definitely force them. Granted, they can hit open shots, but you have to force him to be a playmaker in the series. I think that's the big thing. Karl Anthony Towns had a good game where he scored 20 points. He was very good on the offensive end. I do feel he made a lot of dumb fouls in this game, and he's lucky his team was able to overcome him, having 5 fouls at the start of the fourth quarter, I believe. Very fortunate. Naz Reid was the hero of the game, I felt, in the fourth quarter. This man had like 14 points in the fourth quarter. He hit a 3, which was ridiculous because it was a bank shot, and he wasn't calling for that. He had an awesome putback dunk right over Jokic, and just he sparked them when Cat was in foul trouble and saved the day, I felt, to a large degree. He was very big, and he's a legit player. He was 6th man of the year, so it definitely wasn't a fluke. But it shows again how Denver is in trouble when it comes to their bench, and they don't have anybody that can match this guy. What they're going to have to do, I believe, is play DeAndre Jordan and Najee at center off the bench, because they really need that size in the worst way. Not to say any of those guys are solid, but they need that. And like I've been saying before, some guy on their bench has to score at least 10. I need 10 or 12 points from some guy on the Nuggets bench. That, to me, is going to be a big deal. So it's going to be a tough series for the Nuggets. But I still have this thing going to 7. I had it going to 7 before it started. I do think Game 2 will be a test. You're going to see the Nuggets, them show a heart of a champion type of effort, I believe, in Game 2. I think it's a do-or-die situation. They have to come out and win that game. I'm looking forward to it, to see how they respond, to see how the Wolves respond. It's going to be a very interesting matchup.